President of Tel Aviv University, Professor Yosef Klafter, distinguished Dan David Laureates, Ariel David, and distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is a pleasure and an honor to open our symposium on bioethics with the laureates of the Dan David Prize. And before we begin, I would like to ask the president of the university to say a few words, please.
I'm always happy to be limited to few words. So, dear Dan David Prize laureates, speakers, guests, Professor Shai Lavi, the chairman of the session here. One of the nice traditions around the Dan David Prize ceremony has been organizing this symposia or workshops focusing on the specifics of each of the time dimensions. And in this case is the present time dimension, bioethics. And this idea is, of course, in order to expose leading scholars, researchers, experts to the university faculty and students, and of course also to other Israeli academia. So even in this era of which is very digital, face-to-face discussions and personal touch still has some value and might even create some real cooperations later on. Now, from my point of view, the uniqueness of the Dan David Prize is being open to unconventional and interdisciplinary fields of study and research that other awards, if you check their lists, the possibility to include these areas, it doesn't exist. And if I went a little bit over the Dan David Prize areas or fields. A few years ago, we awarded combating poverty, a very major global problem, which you won't find on any other award. As Ariel, who is here, mentioned, next year we'll have Defending Democracy. I don't see any other award that defends democracy. Or the other one is Combating Climate Changes. And all these examples, including bioethics, are really global challenges that definitely need more than one approach, more than one discipline, and even cover different communities, different societies, and even include different political views. They all also depend on political approaches. Now, here at Tel Aviv University, we have some bioethical related initiatives. We have the Herzog Institute of Aging, and a few years ago, Shai, if you remember, we inaugurated the Minerva Center for Interdisciplinary Studies of the End of Life. I remember I took part in inauguration, and it was sponsored by German funds. And to me, German funds with end of life, it was a little bit, I would say, sensitive. Moreover, strangely enough, one of the visitors from Germany was a minister of education who very shortly after had to quit because of plagiarism. So this is from bioethics to ethics. So which shows how rich is the whole field here. And of course, we have something which is extremely ethical, and this is the Edmond Safra Center for Ethics that you were the first head of before you moved the baton to somebody else. And again, we have in parallel something that many universities have, and this is all these initiatives on healthy aging and related stuff that really are again global and cover many, many things. So I really think that it's a very important global issue, touches on everyone. And all I can tell you is just that I hope the symposium will be interesting, fruitful. But I cannot resist, before I finish, to comment on another ethics issue. And this is related to an ethical code that our government tries to impose on universities, which might restrict, I would say a bit to be polite, restrict our freedom of speech and expression. This is something which is heavily discussed by the government. We resist, but it hasn't settled yet. And I would like to say that before we can solve bioethical issues, we need to get rid of ethical code that prevent us from solving ethical issues. So enjoy.